Hi there, welcome to CT Sews. I'm Colleen. Today I'd like to make a mug rug from Kimberbell. It's their volume 6. They're nice and easy to make, good, quick, easy gifts. I'm going to be making this one. So let's see how we go. It's all my fabrics you need. Be making it in a 5x7 hoop with just some cutaway stabilizer and my required fabrics. So I have my design pulled up onto my sewing machine. I am working on a Brother Luminaire, and I have my hoop with a stabilizer in it all ready to go. So now we'll stitch out a placement line for the batting. The design shows that it should take 25 minutes in sewing time. It will take a bit longer because of cutting the fabric and, all the in-between things that goes on. So it's stitched a placement line for the batting. You have to make sure that you cover the whole placement line area with the batting, and that will tack it down in place. So now we have to cut this excess batting away. I've just taken the hoop out of the machine for easy access, and just trim back the batting. Try not to cut your stitches, but we try and trim as close to those stitches as possible. So we have a placement line going down the middle. We'll place fabric number 1, just covering that placement line, and we'll put it back in the machine and go. Oops, I've obviously not placed it properly. I'll just lift it up a bit. Sorry about that. There we go, that's better. I'm going to trim this back a bit. It's a little bit too far over, and I don't want it causing too much bulk. So I'm just going to trim that back a bit. That will be fine. And then we'll place fabric number 2 right side down, because it's a stitch and flip process. That gets lined up with that placement line. So now we'll just flip this over. Just give it a nice press. You can put your iron over it if you like. I'm not going to do that right now. And now we'll just sew right around. So the next would be a bit of quilting all over the project. I'm going to cut that thread. I don't like threads around. The thread I'm using is linen by Glide. It's a 40 weight thread. Okay, so the next thread I'm going to put in is a light tan for my next step. So now we're going to do a placement line for the circle. I'll just show you this part of the pattern. And I'm going to place the applique piece covering that circle completely. And now it will tack it down. You know, you can use tape or spray glue to hold these fabrics in place. I personally don't care to use it. I don't like to get my needle and the inside of my machine all sticky. And I'm quite happy doing it without. So now we have to cut this excess fabric away. Okay, so I've cut the excess fabric away. So it's going to do some decorative stitching. That will take 5 minutes, so I'll pause the video once again just so that you're not bored with watching the stitches go. But I'll let it run a little bit. So it's going to do the decorative stitches around the circle, and we'll do some floral work inside the circle. just need to check my thread. I just had a broken thread, but I fixed it. All good now. I'll pause the video while it's doing all this floral, and we'll be back soon. So I've changed the thread color to marlin. And it's just stitching at some stems. My next color will be azure, all by Glide. That's azure, that's stitching the stem right. So the next stitch will be placement line for the leaves, and although the leaves is cream, I found it very difficult to see the color the last time, so I'm just going to put in a darker color just so that I can see the placement line. It's not going to matter because it won't be seen in the end. Now this is the placement line for the leaves, so sewing at the moment. But I'll be using linen. Oops. Please forgive me for such a wonky video, but this is my very first video. It's all new to me. For medical reasons, I cannot go out to work, so I still want to work, and I'm going to try doing this just so that I can still feel useful in life. Oops, sorry. My thread didn't quite cut. So I've got all my placement lines for the leaves, and now I'm going to put a bit of felt over the placement lines, covering them all nicely. I've also changed my thread to the linen, so it will match the felt, and then this will tack it down for us. And when trimming the felt back, don't trim it too close to the stitches because it's a raw edge applique, and so you want to leave a little bit over the stitches. I do use a double curved 6-inch scissors. This is a Kimberbell scissors, but I will say my most favorite one is Ginger, which is this one. And this is a beautiful scissors to use. I just bought the Kimberbell one because it's pretty, but it seems to work quite fine. I'm happy using it, but I think Ginger will always be my most favorite. You always have your favorite, but Kimberbell has always got everything pretty, and yeah, I'm a bit of a big Kimberbell fan. But I purchase everything from Reno, A1 in A1 Vacuum and Sewing in Reno, and very helpful people. I use the affiliate link when buying anything Kimberbell, but the design itself I purchased straight from A1 Reno. Always try and help out our quilt shops. We need them to stay in business, keep us happy. So now I'm going to cut back the felt, and you'll find it's very tight, and the flowers have lots of little innies and outies. I don't bother going in. Oops, sorry. It's very squiggly and wiggly, and it's not always easy to go into every little corner. It's very tiny work. I don't worry about that. I just cut around it because the felt will just shrink back in it, and the leaves will take its shape anyway, so I'm not too worried. I just cut around it, and as long as it's not too much felt on the outer, we'll be fine. We have to enjoy what we're doing, and if we're going to be too fussy, then it all becomes too stressful, and then we don't enjoy our hobby. Do it as best we can, and make ourselves happy. Anyway, I'll continue cutting, and I'll be back. So here you can see I've trimmed back the felt on those leaves with no fuss, and it's fine because the stitching gives it its shape. So I've put some green into the machine, clover, and we will sew some sprigs. Now I'm stitching some placement lines for leaves, which is an applique. It's just 2 little leaves. So once again we'll place the fabric covering those placement lines, and then it will tack down. So it's time to trim back the excess fabric. So as you can see, I've trimmed back the fabric, and so it will just do some decorative stitching around those leaves. Make it look all nice and pretty. So I finished sewing those decorative stitching around the leaves and filling in these leaves. Now we're going to do a placement line for the flower in the middle. I've changed my thread back to linen to match my fabric. Oh, I thought the flower was in the middle. Apparently not. So now I'll place I did back all my fabric with SF101 just to avoid shadowing, especially with the light color fabric. Yeah. Only the back fabric I didn't put fusible backing on because that's folded double and it's fine. Yes, so I've cut the fabric back on the flower. I've used this tiny little snips just to get into those finer little corners where the other scissors doesn't quite get into. And these are, let me see, who are they from? The Havels. And so now we'll do some decorative stitching. My thread is a bit very long over there. I don't like threads. Just want to cut that thread away. that will do some decorative stitching around the flower and a bit of spray of leaves over there into the middle. So with the linen we finish embroidering around the flower, and I've done these little bits up the leaves and some bits on the stems. I've now loaded the colour thread, I wouldn't know how you say this, pea knot. Anyway, a nice maroony colour. And it's going to do the center of the flower. Would help if I threaded the needle. So it's going to do the center of the flower and a bit of writing in the middle. The writing will take 2 minutes, so I won't bore you with keeping the camera running for 2 minutes on the same old same. So we finally finished all the embroidery work. We've done the sentiment and all the decorative stitching. Everything's done. And now we have to put the backing on. The backing is just 2 pieces of fabric and they are folded double. The backing we'll just place over. We need to cover all of the outer stitching. And we'll have the folded edge facing the middle. It's an envelope enclosure, and as long as this is overlapping at least 1 inch, I just go as best I can. As long as I know these stitches are all covered, it's good. And then we'll just put a bit of tape on it, especially where the needle will travel. We don't want the needle lifting up the fabric, because then it will be a big disaster. So I'll put a bit of tape on there. And just on each edge, just to keep it in place while it's sewing. Okay, we'll put it back in the machine. So this will be the final stitch, just to close all this in. Right, finally time where we can take it out of the hoop and turn it out. So finally time to take it out of the hoop. We'll remove the sticky tape. And we'll just trim close to the stitching, not too close, but close enough. Just, we don't want too much bulk, but we also don't want the stitches to pop out. I should use it rotating table so that I don't make so much noise. Live and learn. I'll just cut the corners a little bit. And now for the big reveal. I guess anything will do to help us turn these corners, including a knitting needle. I left my turning tool by the machine. Sorry, keep knocking the camera. Try and be gentle. Give it a press from the back. I don't want to press it from the front because I don't like putting heat on my threads. Just give it a little bit of a and there we go. You make the world a better place. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and hope to see you again soon. Thanks, bye.